Okay, today we're going to do another video. And I happen to run across some rather disturbing facts. Lost my mouse there for a second. Boy, how come this thing shows. I don't know how that came about. Anyway, I'm going to start out with my little logo here, Rantings of a 21st Century Old Guy. It's amazing how many things people have forgotten and why they forgot them. I don't know. It's uh, it's shocking. For me, there's a reason these things why people want these things forgotten. I mean, if we look at the political atmosphere today, you gotta be either dead to not know these things or seeing them happening, or just have your head up your ass. And dead voters is not something new. Anyway, what I want to do is take a look at a subject that I think we should all be concerned about, and that we need to, let's say, educate the general public on. We're going to take a look at the Holocaust. A study conducted by the Conference on Jewish Material Claims Against Germany reported this week that 41% of Americans, that's almost half the Americans, and 66% of millennials, that's two-thirds of the millennials, the younger generation, says they don't know about the Auschwitz death camp. Well, more than a million Jews and others, so you got to kind of consider this source. A million Jews and others, including Poles, Roma people, and gays, were executed. 45% of millennials believe 2 million or fewer Jews were killed in the Holocaust. It was 6 million. Well, so we're going to look at this. And 22% of the millennials say they haven't heard of the Holocaust. So that's 22%. That's a quarter of all millennials never heard of the Holocaust. Now you can imagine for yourself why people want to kind of put this aside and hide it. There's a political agenda behind this. We're not going to take a look at that today, but we're just going to take this time to educate the American public on the Holocaust. Well, I got this out of an NPR report. You can look it up. You can search this out. People's Holocaust knowledge is the keywords on NPR. You can take a look at it. But what I want to do, basically, a little bit of advertising for our website, usaevote.com. You want to take a look on here, you just hover over to World War II. I got this cool little artwork my daughter came up with. Says we can never forget. It's one of the things we shouldn't forget. Okay, we got things about different concentration camps, the assassination of Hitler, the Polish resistance. Don't forget, Poland was in World War II, also Czechoslovakia. We've got other concentration camps people never even heard about. My daughter researched this material. She spent the time to put it up. We got information on Stalin, the Ethiopia campaign. I mean, this is information that people just never really heard about. The Night of the Long Knives, how Hitler took over. It gets into a little bit of Hitler's theology and basically some of these stories in here. When you read them, you can see the parallels between how Hitler took control and the political atmosphere of today that should really scare the bejeebers out of you. Okay, I'm going to go down here, up here a little bit. Basically, we got these headers. Uh, we got information on World War One, the Civil War, Revolutionary War, American history. Uh, we've got current events, the 2019 impeachment, which is turning into the 2020 impeachment. We got things that happened today in history, way back when in 1939, 1963, on certain dates. We got to register to vote. You click on here, it takes you right to the website that tells you how to register to vote. We got faith in our fathers. You can vote on bills. This is the concept behind starting this website. We put up bills that were in front of Congress and wanted people to vote on them. That never took off. People just really don't care what's going on. We got some articles on some U.S. veterans. We got some opinion polls here. These are kind of old. We got an editorial section that seems to be gaining ground and expanding. Networking for America. We wanted to have people put in, okay, you got parades or whatever, or you got something patriotic going on. We're going to list it, but we've only got Legends of America. It's a nice photography essay that a couple did crossing the entire United States. And contact us. We got our notices. We got all this legal stuff that you have to have a website these days. We got something about patriotic songs, events throughout America. Sorry about that, but nobody's submitting in any of their events. We got trivia quizzes. Got up to 86. We probably got more. This needs to be updated. We got books that you can read. And my daughter's done quite a number of books. I mean, she's read hundreds of them. Her research is phenomenal. We got kind of a little thing here, First Amendment under attack beyond 2021. Wrote this a couple of years ago, and it's getting really close. Basically, it'd be interesting to read this article I came up with and see how close it is. And we also sell t-shirts. So if you want to take a look at them, you can take a look at them. We go through Printful. I've got a number of the shirts, washed them a number of times. They're still holding up. They're high quality. And you can also buy some of the shirts on Amazon, the shirts that Amazon will allow on there. Sometimes Amazon does not like some of the political statements we make. So they reject them. And to tell you the truth, we sell shirts cheaper than Amazon does because we don't have to pay the markup. Enough for advertising on our website. We have a lot of famous sayings here and everything that basically got some advertising. We don't make any money off of it though. But you can go through this website, take a look at it, and there's places where you can actually leave a comment. But back to the Holocaust. Basically what I did is I did a search on Holocaust statistics and a couple other searches on the Holocaust. Went through dozens of articles and came up with the best. Okay, first of all, Wiki. Good source. They've got an article on the Holocaust. They're going to explain that basically it wasn't just the Jews. What Hitler did is he tried to get rid of a whole bunch of his political opponents. He started opening up concentration camps. Then he introduced his healthcare system, and to make his healthcare system work, he had to get rid of a bunch of old people, the mentally ill and the terminally ill. So they were the first ones to start going. And then he eventually got into being really popular because he wanted to get rid of the Jews, and then Hitler just went completely wild on that. Anyway, you can catch up on your history with that. And since we're dealing with Wiki, how do you get the America educated on the Holocaust? Movies. I mean, look at this. Here's a list of Holocaust movies going from the 1940s all the way up through to 210s. And you can pick out these movies. I don't know if these links actually come to it, but they've got the titles here. You can search them out. You can probably find a whole lot of them on the internet. The 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. And I want to get into something into the 1990s. Because you see, there were these. I was actually made this video because I was looking for these actual German films from the concentration camps. In 1995, that was 50 years, these films were locked away for 50 years. They came out, and public TV, was it NPR or whatever? It's Channel 10 over here in Milwaukee. They put on this documentary series. It was a 5-part series. They showed hundreds of films that the Nazis took, and they showed films that the Americans took when they walked into these concentration camps. Hundreds of them. I mean, this thing, it kept me on the edge of my chair. I couldn't believe it. The thing that got me is I know that my dad took this basically to his deathbed. He didn't tell anybody about this until 2 or 3 days before he died, but he couldn't believe in God because of the things he saw in these camps. He said there couldn't be a God that existed that could let this stuff happen. I saw that film, and let me tell you, there's thousands. Patton's the 3rd or 6th Army liberated a bunch of these. I traced all this down. I found out my dad was in 3 of these camps. At least 2, possibly 3. He witnessed this stuff. Thousands of Americans witnessed this stuff. They had to live with it. They were told to keep it secret. So I looked for this film. It was a documentary made in the United States in about 1995, maybe 1996 or 97. I can't remember. I haven't been able to find it. I think it's because this film was so horrific and so true, but it offended so many people because they didn't want that film on, because it told the truth. It told everything that happened in those concentration camps with the films that the Nazis took themselves. They were proud of what they were doing. And you can't find it. It's not in here. That documentary, I think, was taken out because someone didn't want the American public to know how bad that actually was. So here we have movies. We don't have many documentaries, but the one I was looking for didn't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. But we have other films. What we want to do is educate the American public on getting up to date, in tune, the Holocaust, because we don't want that to happen again, especially in America. Okay, I think this is probably, I'm talking about the Jewish world, Jewish holidays, Holocaust remembered. Okay, so they've got their list of films that they'd like people to see, and these are probably pretty good. They might be a little biased. You know, the Jews, it gets on my nerves because the Jews keep on insisting that they were only victims of the Holocaust, which is not true. I mean, basically, my grandparents came from Poland. My relatives were wiped out in World War II, and they were not Jewish. They were political leaders. They were people that held important jobs over in Poland, and they were taken out and basically killed in those concentration camps. The Jews weren't the only ones. Schindler's List, I've actually got a copy of this movie. I haven't watched it yet. But you can go through this list over here. Basically, it's going to be pretty easy to search these out. You just look for Holocaust films or Holocaust movies. They've got them on Netflix and on Amazon. This will give you a little list. Defiance seems to be in a couple of places it's advertised. But you can watch a couple of these. Come on, watching movies. I mean, how easy could an education be? It's, the millennials, come on, put down the computer games for a couple of minutes and maybe learn something about the past. So you can take a look at these. You're on YouTube. Come on now. Let's get serious. Let's watch some of these on YouTube. Let's not let these sacrifices go unnoticed. Now, you can search all of these. I mean, there is just, you probably got pages and pages. They got 10 most accurate war movies. They got, I don't know if I can show any of these. It might be some copyright infringement. I searched YouTube looking for that documentary I was talking about. I cannot find it. If anybody finds it, hey, put down a link over there. I would really appreciate it. And let me know. Okay, then we've got Amazon. A lot of people have Amazon, searched Holocaust documentaries. They've got probably more than a dozen. I haven't went through and counted them all. I think this is the one I watched, and it's pretty good. It shows maybe 3 minutes of the actual films that the Nazis took. And when you see just these 2 or 3 minutes of films that the Nazis took, you're gonna be shocked. But it's not the best documentary I've seen. It's lingers on. It'll get you a little bit of information, but you can take a look at these, and there's all kinds of movies on here. There's no reason why we should have these statistics that are so low. And I got this one. I don't know. We're right back to this study that's been, but hey, pass this along. It's not that hard to get up to speed on what happened with this stuff. I think it's especially important now because of the fact that we're seeing some rather strange things being introduced. People want to change our constitution. People want to change our judicial system, and if you really get into it and study the steps that Hitler took to get up to this point of the Holocaust, you're going to see some amazing parallels, some frightening parallels. And as for me, I mean, I probably won't be around that much longer, but to tell you the truth, I'd sure hate to have my kids go through this. So let's get it edumacated. Oh, and hit the, I keep on forgetting what it's not the share button, it's the, whatever button it is here on YouTube when you get to this stuff. They got something about subscribe button. Yeah, hit the subscribe button over on my videos. And I'm going to keep on making these things and add one on after another. And hopefully we can make a difference in this world somehow. Have a great day.